Hey everybody, Untitled Chapter here with another video from Dizzy Sorcerer's Arena. So today, this is a special, I'm doing a second video today because I have a lot to talk about. This is going to be a longer video, so excuse it if it's longer. You don't have to necessarily watch all of it. I'll have some links, some time links that are going to be down in the description for specific times. I'm first going to talk about the team I used for Tower 3. Then I'll talk a little bit about how I beat specifically 8 and 10. Now, because I've already beaten Tower 3, I can't go in there and show you. I can only show you the team. I can only talk about it kind of philosophically, and I'll do my best for it to make sense. But the time links will be down in the description below. So first off, the team I use. So Tower 3 uses Kingdom and Oceanic. So Kingdom is pretty straightforward because you're going to have your main characters. So this is, I did only have Aladdin at 6 stars. I just 7-starred him, which is why I actually have no gold right now. But everything else was the same. So in there, I did use Mulan once. I used Robin Hood twice. I used Mickey, I think, twice. And then I had Jasmine for a good chunk, especially 8 through 10. I had Jasmine the whole time. I'm pretty sure. I might not have had Jasmine for 10. But this is what I had, except for the fact that now I have Aladdin at 7 stars. Nothing else has really changed. This is the gear I had on everyone. Main ones I was using though was Shan Yu for his ability, or his leadership. I used Aladdin. I had him alive the whole time. I had Mickey for a good chunk of it, and then I had Robin Hood for 10. Mulan I used at the beginning just so that I didn't lose any health on these guys. And then I had Jasmine, especially for 8. This is kind of where I was at. I think it would have been overall easier if I had Jasmine at tier 4, or at least with the speed gear on her, so I could have made her faster. But it was still possible for me without it. The other main team that you have to be using is Oceanic. Oceanic's really difficult. It's a really difficult one to invest in. The characters are not other than Jack Sparrow, none of the other characters are really good, and we don't have access to Stitch or Maui yet. So, this is literally, I had a 2-star tier 4 Ariel, a 6-star T5 Jack Sparrow, and I did have Hook, but I'll talk a little bit more about strategy, but I only really used Hook at the beginning. So, the most part, I was really just focused on having Ariel and Jack for the whole time. I don't have Parley with level 2, so that was just level 1. Actually, all his abilities are level 1. I did have Ariel. I focused mainly on getting her recovery gear because I did want to make this as useful as possible, but I wasn't going to get her to tier 5 just so I could get that last upgrade on it. So I did have it at level 2, and I did have 3 of the 4 recovery gear. So this is recovery. And each one of these adds plus 80. So I just had this one plus recovery one. And then I had this one if I was having problems and I needed to equip it. But I ended up being fine with it. So that's kind of the team. So the overall team was that these were the 2 Oceanic because it requires 2 Oceanic in all of the progression. And then the Kingdom, I already said, the main ones, I had to keep Shan Yu alive the whole time. I had to keep Aladdin alive the whole time. And that was really kind of how I ran the entire team, was kind of keeping those 2 alive, and then I kind of had a third one that I rotated through, and it was Robin Hood, Mulan, and Jasmine for the most part. So I don't have a good breakdown. I can't really show you too much. I can just show you that I beat the tower because it won't let me exchange anything or show you any. Oh, well, okay, here, awesome. So it will let me. It'll just say battle completed. So for 1 through 3, this is Kingdom and Oceanic only. So for this one, I was mainly focusing on using the Kingdom characters I wasn't going to need elsewhere, and Hook, because this only requires 1 Oceanic, and then the rest have to be Kingdom for 1 through 3. So this one was Hook plus Shan Yu, Mulan, Aladdin, and Mickey. That was 9. That's what I did most of the time, because it didn't matter if Mulan went out, but I just had to make sure that in this one I didn't lose. No matter what, it was okay if I lost Hook, but I had to make sure I didn't lose Mickey, Aladdin, or Shan Yu. For then the next set was 4 through 7. So 4 through 7, you can use any characters, but you have to have 2 Oceanic. So for this one, the main strategy I had was that I used Dr. Facilier, 2 downtown and then if I was running low on health with any of the kingdom characters I needed, because I was still kind of overlapping, I made sure to use them so they could get some healing from there. So I kept Dr. Facilier alive this whole time. I think I used Dash, because I have a 7-star Dash. So I was using Dash a lot, just to make sure I could get the kills that I needed, so that I would be gaining the health, so I'd be healing up the characters I needed, especially keeping the Oceanic characters alive, because I could not lose any health on Jack Sparrow or on Ariel, who are needed, because this is 2 Oceanic plus whatever else you want. So for these ones, it was Dr. Facilier, Jack, and Ariel, and then if I needed to heal up kingdom characters, I threw them in, but otherwise I was just using downtown or other characters I didn't need. So that's kind of like, that was the easy part. So especially if you're at level 40, that's not that difficult to get up to 7. So 8 is where things get really tricky. So 8 is 5 mermaids, 3 in wave 1 with 2 jellyfish, plus 2 mermaids, plus 3 of the Davy Jones soldiers in 8. So this is one that really stumps a lot of people. So for this one, and I'll show you using an example here in Tower 5, assuming I can actually even attack Tower 5 right now. I think I can. So I'm just going to show you just for kicks. So this is going to be different for the teams, but let's see. I need Manticore because I need 1 mythical, and then I'll just throw it. So just look at this. So don't look at like the characters, because this is going to be different. But the idea is that I go in, and the speed meter for everybody you're facing is randomized at the beginning. So there's no guarantee it's going to be X, Y, or Z. The turn order is always going to be somewhat different. It's going to be somewhat randomized. And so what I did is every single time, so Shan Yu would always go first because he has high speed. And if I saw down here that I had Shan Yu and Aladdin, would always have to make sure that they went before the first mermaid. It was okay if some jellyfish got some turns before that, but I had to make sure that I had Shan Yu and I had Aladdin take turns before any of the mermaids. And then if that was the case, then I would always try to attack what the mermaid had the next turn. So it wasn't like trying to take out one mermaid. It was literally whoever had the next one, I would always try to go, because I would do like defense down is a really good one. I would have Aladdin use his carpet to try to reduce speed meter. Unfortunately, I'm not very far into Tower 5, and I really can't beat them. So I am not able to show you how I would use Aladdin. But then Aladdin would have his turn, and I would use the carpet again, trying to reduce the speed meter on the next mermaid, and just kind of doing that over and over again. And if the mermaids were able to get anything, then I just came here and forfeit. If they use their main ability to take out, especially Ariel, Jack, or Aladdin, Shan Yu could usually take one or two hits. But yeah, if they hit them hard, then I would just immediately quit out. I honestly kept going at this for about 100 times, maybe even more, just trying to get that perfect turn order, because you're just sitting there. And if I would like go in battle, I'd have the same team, same makeup, every single time, and I'm just sitting here, battle. If it's not the turn order I want, I forfeit. If a character went out from a attack from a mermaid, I quit out. I just kept sitting at here, just kind of doing it, because you need to get that perfect turn order. See, for instance, if this was a mermaid, and this was Aladdin, then this is fine. I would just focus on that one, and you can kind of see who gets next turn, because you can see the speed meter down here. So then I would just have focused on specifically that mermaid to try to reduce their health as much as possible, reduce their speed meter, because if Shan Yu gets a critical hit, then he can reduce speed meter. If Aladdin on his carpet has a 30% chance to reduce speed meter. So I'm just trying to focus on like reducing their speed as much as possible. And I would just see her go in, forfeit until I got that perfect turn order. Always focus on the mermaids first. And the way I did it was, going in order of whoever had the next turn, just trying to focus and make sure I was reducing their speed meter as much as possible so they didn't get turns. It took a lot of tries, and it was possible for me to do, even with my very weak team. I'm not actually going to battle. I'm just going to show you the team again. So what I had is let me clear this out. So these were the spells I was using. So I had Jack. I had Jack back here. I had Jack back here with don't let me move it. Shan Yu. I don't think placement mattered that much overall here. I had Ariel. And then most of the time I was using Jasmine for this. So Jasmine, even though she's only at 5 stars, tier 3, I was really focusing on getting Raja out as much as possible because he could absorb hits. He always gets a taunt right at the beginning, and he can really tank hits. That was very useful. I was usually running Bucket plus Foul Play. But if you have Dumbo, I didn't have Dumbo, but from what everyone was saying, Dumbo's really good too because it's a blind. If you get Raja out, you do charge up your spells very fast from having a character be defeated, and that counts as having Raja or having Hyenas, which I'll talk about tomorrow's video with Tower 4. That does charge up your spells really well, so it's easy to get Dumbo out to get those blinds out, and that's how I beat 8. It was like over and over and over again. I was just with this team, always make sure that I was having a good turn order, that I was able to control as much as possible the speed of the mermaids, and it was literally if I didn't get the turn order I wanted at the beginning, then there was no chance I was going to win. There was no chance. So just really quick overall strategy: go in. You want the speed to be that Shan Yu and Aladdin both get a turn before the first mermaid, so you can reduce the speed meter on whatever mermaid is going next. If you successfully reduce the speed meter, you should always check to see which mermaid would go next. If you have reduced the speed meter, it might have changed the order. Same thing goes with Jack Sparrow's charm, his charm ability, the parley. Always made sure to do that on the next moving, the next mermaid that would move. I tried a lot of different orders there, where I was like, oh, do it on whoever has the most health, just focus one at a time. But the problem is that until you get your spells out to get the bucket, or if your team doesn't have a lot of health like mine does, like between these 4 here especially, because Aladdin was able to take a couple hits, but these 4 are very squishy, so they don't have high defense. I'm talking Jasmine just because I only have her at tier 3, so she was also not very good overall, so it was a mess. So I just had to really focus hard to make sure I got the right turn order. Even if I couldn't take out one mermaid fast enough for it to matter, because other mermaids would then have been getting turns while I was just focusing on one. Because I'm trying to reduce the speed meter, and the charm also helps. I'm literally just whoever's going next is the one I'm focusing on. So that's 8. That was how I beat 8. I literally tried for 2.5 hours of just going in, forfeiting, until I got what I wanted. If you do get 8, the goal is at the end of 8 to still have your Jack and your Ariel at least a good amount of health. Like, you don't need to have a ton. I think I had Jack at like a quarter health, but Ariel was still pretty healthy because they hadn't hit her, because she's only tier 4, 2-star for me. She has still little health. Then if she got hit once, she was always gone. So she was mostly at full health, but then Jack took I think maybe 1 or maybe 2 hits, so he was a little bit lower health. So if you do get there, the goal is to have those 2 alive, plus Shan Yu and Aladdin. And if you did have Jasmine, I lost Jasmine in 8, but that was okay because it meant that it kept Shan Yu and it kept Aladdin alive. So if you're still with those 4 as you're going into 9, then you're good and you can allow it to finish. You can still forfeit even as you're defeating the last character if you do it before it ends the battle, if you lose a character near the end. So I was very active in forfeiting if it wasn't perfect when I went through. Obviously, if you have more stars on Ariel, if you have more levels, especially on Jasmine, I didn't have her very invested, but if you did invest pretty heavily in Jasmine, she would last longer and that would be better. 9 is very easy. 9 is just 5 characters. It's just 3 of the Davy Jones plus 2 of the jellyfish. That one is very easy. So the thing is I just made sure that I got at least one healing off with Ariel, and then I just took them out as quick as possible. Just wanted to make sure I got some healing in before I went into 10. In 10, you have 2 waves. 10 is if you lost too much in 8, you still could probably do 9 if it was available to you, but then you would not have been able to do 10. Here's the strategy for 10. For 10, the first wave, you have to make sure that you use the abilities, the carpet and the bird, and the headbutt for Shan Yu. So the bird and the headbutt from Shan Yu, and then the carpet early. You want to use them early. You want to try to use that to reduce speed meter, kind of the same idea. But your main purpose is to do it early enough that then you can stall so that they're recharged, and then don't use your spells in wave 1. Put out the bucket if you have it. Do not use your other spell. If you have the bucket, put it out. Do not use your other spell because you want to save it for the very beginning. If I used foul play and he can flank, so I had foul play ready as I went into 10. So with 10, the strategy is kind of similar, and I wish I had been recording this so you could see it. So 10, use those abilities right at the beginning, and then stall until they're charged, so you can go into wave 2 of 10 with the bird on Shan Yu. What's it called? It's What Do You See, and then the carpet from Aladdin. Okay. First things first, you want to get foul play or whatever damage spell you have to hit Davy Jones as soon as you get a turn, because it should be charged by the time you get through wave 1. You want to use that right at the beginning. Then you want to use the bird from Shan Yu and then the carpet right away. Between foul play, me at level 43, foul play plus the bird or the carpet, I can't remember which one was first, was enough to take out Davy Jones. And then the second thing I did was I got you have to take out the chest, because you want to try to take him out before he gets any turns. I think you did get one turn off, because every time he moves, he summons another thing you have to take out. If you take him out early because you've saved your spell and you can use those flanking abilities, you will have done damage to enough of the other characters too, that at that point you can just clean them out. If you're having trouble in 10, I used Robin Hood actually. So Robin Hood grants a guaranteed critical hit to two characters that are on the two flanking characters. So I gave it right before the end of wave 1. I gave guaranteed critical hit to Aladdin and to Shan Yu because they were in the front, so they could get the guaranteed critical hit. I'll show you the placement for this one again. I wanted to make sure that they got the guaranteed critical hit because you need the critical hit to ensure that you're going to have the team reduce speed meter, because Shan Yu can only do it if you have a critical hit. He can reduce the speed meter. I know this sounds like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but that's really that was the trick, was just trying to get set up for wave 2, get that guaranteed critical hit as quick as possible, right near the end, so that it goes right away, so I reduce the speed meter. And if you do that, if you've saved foul play for right at the beginning of wave 2, don't use it at all in wave 1, and then you have these two have the flanking abilities to do damage to multiple characters and also take out Davy Jones. And then the rest is very easy. Just take out the rest of the characters. I lost Jack, I lost Robin Hood, and I think I was literally sitting on very little health on Shan Yu and Ariel and Aladdin left. They probably could only have taken one hit by the time I finished 10. But as long as you finish, that's all that matters. I know I'm sorry that this was such a long video, but I really want you guys to see it, to know it know how I did it. Even though I have a weak team, it's possible if you kind of are willing to do a lot of forfeiting and 8 to get it so that you have the right turn order and you get some good AI interaction between you and what they're doing. If you have any requests for me, type it up. I typed it up for my Sigma Alliance. And so if you want me to send a type out to you, just message me in Discord. I'm going to have a whole video tomorrow, which will come out at the normal time that my Saturday videos come out. That will talk about Tower 4. full disclosure, Tower 3 I was stuck on for about 3 weeks. Tower 4 I finished in 2 hours. So by the time I had finished Tower 3, I just was like, you know what, I'll see how far I can get Tower 4, and I accidentally just beat it. So I don't have recordings of that one either. I don't even have recordings of me fighting it because I did it on the first try, which is a mixture of just having good downtown characters and also just being lucky and having some good wild characters too, but not very good. So I'm going to have a whole video on that one tomorrow. If you did like this video, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any other requests for videos in the future, feel free to message me, Discord me, comment down below. Don't forget to share with your friends. Guys, I'm loving what I'm doing. Expect a great video on Tower Fort tomorrow. And with that, I will see you in the next video.